Doohan Kim did not plan to find an alien spaceship that morning. He just wanted to fix cars at his garage and maybe go hiking on his day off. But life had other plans for the 25-year-old mechanic. The day started normally enough. Doohan grabbed his backpack, filled his water bottle, and drove his old truck to the hiking trail outside Seattle. The autumn air was crisp, and the morning fog still hung between the tall pine trees. He liked these quiet morning hikes. They helped him think better than staying in his small apartment. As he walked up the trail, a bright flash lit up the sky. At first, he thought it was lightning, but the sound that followed wasn't thunder. It was more like a whistling screech that hurt his ears. Something crashed through the trees about half a mile ahead, leaving a trail of broken branches and smoke. Doohan wasn't sure if he should run away or check it out. His common sense said to leave. His curiosity said to look. After standing there for a minute, curiosity won. "This is probably a really bad idea," he muttered, but kept walking toward the smoke. The crash site wasn't hard to find. Whatever had fallen left a long groove in the earth before stopping at the bottom of a small hill. Doohan expected to find a fallen satellite or maybe a piece of space junk. Instead, he found something that looked like a small spaceship about the size of his truck. The ship's metal skin was a strange silver-colored that seemed to change slightly when he looked at it from different angles. One side was badly damaged, with sparks coming from torn panels. As Doohan got closer, he heard something that made him freeze, a sound like someone crying. The sound came from inside the ship. Doohan looked around for an opening and found what looked like a door, half stuck in the twisted metal. His hands moved before his brain could tell him to stop. Years of working with cars had taught him how to spot weak points in metal. "Hello," he called out. "Is someone in there? I'm going to try to help." The crying stopped, replaced by words in a language he didn't understand. The voice sounded feminine and scared. Doohan spotted where the door's hinges were weakest. He grabbed his multi-tool from his pocket and started working on the damaged metal. It took 10 minutes of careful work, but he finally got the door to move. Inside, he found himself staring at the most beautiful woman he had ever seen, if she was a woman at all. Her skin had a silvery sheen, like the ship's metal, and her eyes were a deep violet color that seemed to glow. She was stuck under a fallen piece of equipment, but otherwise didn't seem badly hurt. She said something again in her strange language. Doohan shook his head to show he didn't understand. He pointed to himself and spoke slowly. "Doohan," he said, "I'm here to help." The alien woman watched him carefully, then nodded slowly. Doohan looked at the equipment pinning her down and saw it wasn't too different from a car's engine block. He could work with that. "Okay," he said, more to himself than to her. "Let's get you out of there." He didn't know it then, but that simple act of kindness would change his life forever. The universe was about to get a lot more complicated for Doohan Kim, the mechanic who accidentally saved an alien princess. After Doohan freed the alien woman from the crashed ship, he faced a new problem. He couldn't leave her in the woods, but he also couldn't take her to a hospital. One look at her silvery skin and glowing violet eyes would cause too many questions. The alien seemed to read his worry. She touched her chest and said something that sounded like Rei. Then she pointed at him and repeated Doohan in a musical voice. "Yes, that's right," he said. "Rei and Doohan. Now what am I supposed to do with you?" Rei suddenly grabbed his arm. Her grip was surprisingly strong. She pointed at the woods behind them and made urgent gestures. Doohan didn't need to understand her language to know she wanted to leave quickly. He helped her walk to his truck, noticing how she moved with perfect balance despite her injuries. Just as they reached the vehicle, a low humming sound filled the air. Rei's face showed fear for the first time. "Bad guys?" Doohan asked, pointing up at the sound. Rei nodded hard and made a cutting motion across her throat. That was clear enough. Doohan helped her into the truck and drove away as fast as he safely could on the forest roads. At his apartment, Rai spent an hour examining everything. She was like a curious child, touching his TV, his phone, and even his toaster with great interest. Duhan watched her, wondering what kind of alien found a toaster fascinating. Then Rai did something strange. She pulled a small device from her pocket that looked like a silver marble. When she squeezed it, the marble grew into a tablet-sized screen. On it, images appeared that looked like a language. Rai studied the screen for a few minutes, her violet eyes moving quickly. Then she looked at Duhan and spoke in perfect, if slightly odd, English. "I have learned your language," she said. "Now I must tell you who I am, and why those who hunt me must not find us." Duhan sat down hard on his couch. "You just learned English, just like that. The knowledge absorber makes it simple," she said, holding up the device. "But that is not important now. I am Princess Rai of the Stellar Harmony, and there are people trying to kill me." Duhan stared at her. "A princess? Like a real princess?" "I am heir to 10,000 worlds," she said simply. "There are those who wish to prevent me from taking the throne. They sabotaged my ship during my diplomatic journey. The escape pod brought me here." Before Duhan could process this, Rai knelt in front of him. She took his hand and pressed it to her forehead. A warm feeling spread up his arm, and for a moment he felt a strange connection to her, like an echo of her thoughts. "You saved my life," she said. "By the laws of my people, we are now bound. I have marked you as my protector." "Wait, what?" Duhan tried to pull his hand back, but Rai held it firmly. "I didn't agree to any binding or marking. The choice was made when you helped me without asking for reward," she said. "Such nobility is rare in any world. I am now your responsibility, and you are mine." Duhan looked at his hand, then at the alien princess kneeling in his small apartment. His quiet life of fixing cars seemed very far away now. "This," he said slowly, "is going to be complicated." Duhan's small apartment had never felt so crowded. Rai followed him everywhere, staying no more than 3 steps behind him at all times. When he tried to go to work, she refused to stay behind. "The bond requires closeness," she explained, standing in his living room at 6 a.m. "Also, they will look for me. You need my protection as much as I need yours." "I need to make money," Duhan said. "I can't just stop going to work because an alien princess is living in my apartment." Before Rai could argue more, someone knocked on the door. Duhan's heart jumped into his throat, but then he heard a familiar voice. "Duhan, open up. You missed our weekly dinner last night." "It's just Jisoo," he told Rai, who had taken a fighting stance. "My friend, but you need to hide." Too late. Jisoo used her spare key and walked in. She stopped in the doorway, her eyes wide as she stared at Rai's silvery skin and violet eyes. "Duhan," Jisoo said very calmly, "why is there an alien in your apartment?" Rai looked at Jisoo with great interest. "You are Duhan's friend. Then you are my friend too." She bowed formally. Jisoo closed the door behind her and locked it. "Explain. Now." Duhan told her everything, while Rai examined Jisoo's phone with fascination. When he finished, Jisoo sat quietly for a long moment. "So you're telling me," she said slowly, "that you found an alien princess, saved her life, and now she's magically bound to you." "That is correct," Rai said. "Though the bond is not magic, it is a biological and spiritual connection that." A loud explosion outside cut her off. Rai moved faster than humanly possible, pulling both Duhan and Jisoo away from the windows seconds before they shattered. "They found us," Rai said. Her violet eyes glowed brighter with anger. "The assassins tracked my escape pod's energy signature." "What do we do?" Duhan asked, trying to stay calm as he heard heavy footsteps on the fire escape. "We run," Rai said. She pulled out her silver device again and pressed it against the wall. The wall shimmed like water. "This will hide our escape." "Quickly." Jisoo grabbed Du-han's arm. This is crazy. We can't just. No time. Rei grabbed them both and pulled them through the shimmering wall. They stepped out into the alley behind the apartment building. Through the wall, which now looked like a window from their side, they saw 3 tall figures in black armor enter the apartment. Those are Void Hunters, Rei whispered. Elite assassins. They will not stop until they find me. Great, Du-han said. So where do we go? My car is around the corner, Jisoo said. Both Du-han and Rei looked at her in surprise. What? You think I'm letting you two run off alone? Besides, I want to know more about alien technology. Rei smiled for the first time since the explosion. I like her, she told Du-han. Your friend is brave. They ran to Jisoo's car just as more explosions rocked the apartment building. As Jisoo drove them away, Du-han looked back at his home. My life really is over, isn't it? He asked. No, Rei said, taking his hand. It's just beginning, and I promise it will be worth it. Jisoo laughed from the driver's seat. Well, it certainly won't be boring. Jisoo's house became their hiding place. It was a small home on the outskirts of Seattle, with a large basement where they could stay out of sight. Rei spent the first day examining everything in the house, just as she had in Du-han's apartment. Why do humans have so many machines just to make food? She asked, staring at the microwave. On my world, we have one device that does everything. Well, we're not as advanced as your people, Du-han explained. He was making ramyeon for lunch, and Rei watched the boiling water with great interest. But that's what makes humans interesting, she said. You find so many different ways to solve simple problems. It's creative. Jisoo sat at the kitchen table with Rei's knowledge absorber, studying the alien text on its screen. Your language is beautiful, she said. The symbols change based on the speaker's emotions. Rei smiled. Yes, we believe words should show both meaning and feeling. Your Earth languages are very direct, simple, but they have their own beauty. Du-han placed 3 bowls of ramyeon on the table. Rei picked up her chopsticks the wrong way, and he had to show her how to hold them. When she finally got a bite of noodles into her mouth, her violet eyes went wide. This is amazing, she said. The flavors are so strong. Our food is made for perfect nutrition. But this, she took another big bite. This is made for joy. Du-han and Jisoo laughed at her excitement. But then Rei got serious. In my world, she said quietly, a princess would never eat simple food like this. We have strict rules about everything. What to eat, how to dress, who to talk to. She looked at her bowl of ramyeon. I've learned more about real life in 3 days on Earth than in all my years in the palace. Don't they let you do anything fun? Jisoo asked. Fun is not considered important for future rulers, Rei said. We must always be perfect, always in control. She smiled sadly. Until I came here, I didn't know what it felt like to just be myself. Du-han felt a strange warmth in his chest. Through their bond, he could sense Rei's mix of happiness and sadness. Well, he said, you're on Earth now. Here, even princesses can eat ramyeon and watch silly videos on their phones. Jisoo pulled out her phone. Speaking of videos, want to see something amazing? She showed Rei a video of kittens playing. The alien princess gasped in delight. What are these creatures? They're so small and soft. Rei leaned closer to the screen. We have nothing like this at home. Everything there is designed to be useful, not cute. Jisoo suggested. Yes, cute. Rei looked at Du-han. Can we see real ones? The small, soft animals. Du-han thought about saying no. They were supposed to be hiding, after all. But the hope in Rei's violet eyes was hard to resist. Jisoo's neighbor has cats, he said finally. Maybe we could visit them later. Rai's happy smile made the risk seem worth it. Sometimes, Duhan thought, the simple things in life could amaze even a princess of 10,000 worlds. The peace didn't last long. 3 days after they moved into Jisu's house, trouble found them again. It started when Duhan was fixing Jisu's car in the garage. "Hand me that wrench," Duhan said to Rai, who was watching him work. She had become very interested in earth machines. Before Rai could move, she froze. Her violet eyes glowed brighter. "They're coming," she whispered. 3 void hunters, from different directions. Duhan slid out from under the car. "How can you tell?" "My people can sense energy patterns," Rai explained quickly. "The hunters use cloaking technology that gives off a specific signal. Jisu needs to get out now." But Jisu was already running down to the garage. "My security cameras just went dark," she said. "All of them at once." Rai pulled out her silver device. "They're blocking Earth technology." "Very clever." She looked at Duhan. "We need to run." "No," Duhan said, looking at his tools spread across the garage floor. "We need to fight." Both women stared at him. "Fight?" Rai asked. "These are elite assassins with advanced weapons. And we're in a garage full of tools, with a princess who has special powers and a car we can use," Duhan said. "Sometimes simple solutions work better than fancy ones." Rai's eyes widened. "The creative human approach," she said softly. "What do you need?" "Jisu, get the car ready." "Rai, can you tell exactly where they are?" Rai closed her eyes. "One in the front yard. One coming through the neighbor's garden. One on the roof." "Perfect." Duhan grabbed his biggest wrench. "Here's the plan." 5 minutes later, the first void hunter walked into the garage. He was tall, covered in black armor that bent light around it. He found the garage empty except for a car with its hood up. The hunter stepped closer to check under the car. That's when Duhan, hidden in the roof space, dropped a whole toolbox on the hunter's head. The alien's armor sparked and flickered. Rai appeared from behind the car. She pressed her hand against the garage door's motor, and silver energy flowed from her fingers. The door slammed down so fast it broke, trapping the second hunter halfway under it. "Jisu, now!" Duhan yelled. Jisu started the car and hit the gas. The car shot forward, pushing the trapped hunter out into the yard. The hunter tumbled right into his teammate, and both went down in a tangle of malfunctioning armor. The third hunter jumped down from the roof, weapon ready, but Rai was faster. She touched the garage's electrical box, and all the power in the house surged into the hunter's armor. The alien dropped like a stone. "Their armor is designed to handle energy weapons," Rai said, smiling. "Not simple Earth electricity." Duhan picked up his wrench. "Should we check if they're still breathing?" "No need," Rai said. "The armor protects them from serious harm, but they'll be unconscious for hours." She looked at Duhan with new respect. "That was impressive." "That was awesome," Jisu said, "but we should probably leave before they wake up." Duhan looked at the crashed garage door and the 3 unconscious aliens. "Yeah," he said, "but first, let me grab my tools. Something tells me we're going to need them again." After escaping from Jisu's house, they found a small motel outside the city. Duhan sat on the bed, feeling strange. Ever since the fight with the Void Hunters, something felt different inside his head. "Rai," he said, "I keep feeling things that aren't mine. Like worry, but I'm not worried. And sometimes happiness when I'm actually scared." Rai sat next to him. Her violet eyes were gentle. "The bond is growing stronger," she said. "You're starting to feel my emotions." Jisu looked up from her laptop, where she was checking news sites for any strange reports. "Wait, you mean the bond thing is real? Like, actually real?" "My people believe that true loyalty creates real connections," Rai explained. "When Duhan saved me without wanting anything in return, it created a special link." Duhan rubbed his temples. "But why is it getting stronger now?" Because you proved yourself again, Ray, I said. You didn't run from the hunters. You fought them to protect me and Jisoo. Each time you showed true loyalty, the bond grows. Suddenly, Doohan felt a wave of gratitude that wasn't his own. He looked at Rai in surprise. Did you just send you my feelings? Yes. Ray smiled. The bond works both ways. I can feel your determination, your kindness. Her smile faded. And your fear about all of this. Jisoo watched them with great interest. So what happens next with this bond? It will keep growing, Ray, I said. Soon, we'll be able to sense each other's thoughts, not just feelings. We'll know when the other is in danger. We can even share strength. Share strength? Doohan asked. What does that mean? Instead of answering, Rai took his hand. A warm feeling spread up his arm, and suddenly he felt stronger, more alert. His tired muscles stopped aching. That's amazing, he said. Then he noticed Rai looked more tired. But it takes energy from you. Rai nodded. Everything has a price. But that's what makes it special. We choose to help each other, even when it costs us something. Jisoo closed her laptop. That's beautiful and all, but we have a problem. The news is reporting strange lights in the sky near Seattle. I think more hunters are coming. Doohan expected to feel scared, but instead he felt calm. Through the bond, he could sense Rai's strength and courage mixing with his own. There's something else you should know, Rai said quietly. The bond. It's permanent. Even on my world, it can't be broken. That's why it's usually only used in marriages or lifelong guardians. Doohan was quiet for a moment. A week ago, this news would have terrified him. But now, feeling Rai's presence in his mind, her kindness, her curiosity about Earth, her growing care for him and Jisoo, it didn't seem so scary. Well, he said finally, I guess we'd better survive these hunters then, because it sounds like we're stuck with each other for a long time. Rai's happiness flowed through their bond, bright and warm. Jisoo laughed at them both. You two are like an old married couple already, she said. Now let's figure out how to deal with these new hunters before they find us. A bright light woke Doohan in the middle of the night. Through the motel window, he saw a large ship hovering in the sky. It was beautiful, shaped like a silver flower with glowing petals. The Royal Guard, Rai said softly. She was already awake, watching the ship. They found me. Jisoo jumped out of her bed. Is that good or bad? Before Rai could answer, a beam of light shot down from the ship. 4 tall figures appeared in the motel parking lot. They wore armor like the Void Hunters, but in shining white instead of black. Through their bond, Doohan felt Rai's mixed feelings, relief at seeing her people, but also sadness and fear. What's wrong? He asked her. Aren't these the good guys? They'll want me to return home, Rai said, to take my place as heir. They won't understand about. She touched Doohan's hand, sending a wave of warm feelings through their bond. The white armored guards knocked on their door. Rai opened it, standing tall like the princess she was. The tallest guard stepped forward and bowed. Princess Rai, we've been searching for you. Are you hurt? I am well, Captain Harem, Rai said. Thanks to these humans, they saved my life and protected me from the Void Hunters. Harem looked at Doohan and Jisoo. Through his clear helmet, they could see he had the same silvery skin as Rai, but his eyes were gold instead of violet. We are grateful, he said, but now you must return. The stellar harmony needs its heir. Wait, Jisoo said. What about the assassins? They're still out there. We caught them an hour ago, Harem said. Their leader, Tadwan, confessed to everything. The danger is over. Rai stepped closer to Doohan. There's something you should know, Captain. This human and I are bonded. All 4 guards went very still. Harem's gold eyes widened. A royal bond. With a human. That's impossible. Not impossible, Raya said. Duhan saved me without wanting anything in return. The bond formed naturally. The council won't accept this, Harim said. You know our laws. The heir cannot be bound to someone who proved more loyal than my own people. Raya's voice was sharp. To someone who fought elite assassins with simple tools because I needed help. Duhan felt her anger through their bond, but also her fear of losing him. He stepped forward. Look, he said to Harim, I don't understand all your laws and customs, but I do understand loyalty. And Raya says this bond can't be broken. That is true, Harim admitted. But princess, your duties. Suddenly, red lights flashed on Harim's armor. One of the other guards shouted, More void hunters. A whole squad, coming fast. Duhan felt Raya's surprise and worry, but he also felt something else through their bond, a plan forming in her mind. Captain, Raya said quickly, you have two choices. Either help us fight these hunters together, humans and harmony working as one, or try to take me home by force, which will take too long, and we'll all be caught by the hunters. Harim looked at his guards, then at the humans. Duhan could almost see him thinking about it. Finally, the captain sighed. What's your plan, princess? The parking lot of the small motel became a battlefield. Harim and his 3 guards stood with their energy weapons ready. Duhan had his toolbox, and Jisoo held Raya's knowledge absorber. Raya stood in the middle, her violet eyes glowing bright. The hunters will expect advanced weapons, Raya said. They won't expect Earth technology. What's the plan? Harim asked, still not looking happy about taking orders that involved humans. Duhan stepped forward. Jisoo, can you use that absorber to mess with their communications? Jisoo grinned. Already working on it. Their language isn't so hard once you understand the patterns. Through their bond, Duhan felt Raya's pride in her human friends. He also felt her send a burst of energy into the motel's electrical system, just like she had done in Jisoo's garage. 6 black armored figures appeared around them. Their leader stepped forward, taking off his helmet. It was Ta-1, the assassin Harim said they had caught. Surprised? Ta-1 smiled. Your guards aren't the only ones who can teleport. He looked at Raya. Come with us quietly, princess, and maybe we'll let your pet humans live. They are not pets, Raya said coldly. They are my friends, and they are smarter than you think. Jisoo pressed something on the absorber. Suddenly, all the hunters' helmets filled with static noise. They couldn't hear each other's commands. Now, Duhan shouted. Raya released the energy she had been storing. Every light in the motel exploded, sending sparks raining down on the hunters. Their armor, designed to block energy weapons, couldn't handle the simple earth electricity. The royal guards fired their weapons, but the hunters had good shields. That's when Duhan threw his wrench, not at the hunters, but at the motel's water pipe above them. Cold water sprayed down, making the electricity even stronger. 3 hunters fell, their armor smoking. Impossible. Ta-1 shouted. How are primitive humans doing this? Because, Raya said, humans don't think like us. They see simple solutions we miss. They turn weakness into strength. Harim was watching with amazement as Jisoo used the absorber to turn 2 hunters' weapons against each other. Perhaps, he said slowly, we have underestimated Earth. The last hunter fell, leaving only Ta-1. He pulled out a strange black cube. Die together then. But before he could use it, Duhan felt Raya's thoughts through their bond. Without words, they moved as one. Duhan threw his screwdriver just as Raya sent a burst of energy through it. The tool hit the cube perfectly, making it dissolve into harmless light. Ta-1 stared at his empty hand. Harim quickly put energy cuffs on him. You see, Raya said to Harim, this is why the bond chose Duhan. This is why Earth deserves our respect. They may not have our technology, but they have something just as valuable. creativity, courage, and true loyalty. Hiram looked at the defeated hunters, then at the humans who had helped defeat them. Finally, he bowed to Duhan and Jisoo. "The stellar harmony owes you a debt," he said, "and perhaps we have much to learn from Earth." Through their bond, Duhan felt Rai's joy and triumph. They had proven that humans were worth respecting. But he also felt that she had another, bigger plan in mind. 1 month after the battle at the motel, Duhan stood in a great silver hall on Rai's homeworld. The ceiling was so high he couldn't see it, and the walls showed moving images of stars and planets. Jisoo stood beside him, trying not to stare at all the alien officials in their fancy clothes. Raya stood before the Council of the Stellar Harmony, her head held high. Through their bond, Duhan could feel her mix of nervousness and determination. "You want us to what?" the head council member asked, his gold eyes wide with shock. "I want Earth to join the Stellar Harmony," Raya said clearly. "As equals, not as servants or subjects." Whispers filled the hall. Another council member stood up. "But they are so primitive. They don't even have space travel." "They have something better," Raya said. "They have creativity, courage, the ability to find new ways to solve problems." She smiled at Duhan. "And they understand true loyalty better than many advanced races." "The princess speaks truth," Hiram said, stepping forward. He had become their strong supporter after the battle with the hunters. "I've seen humans defeat our best weapons with simple tools and quick thinking." Jisoo stepped forward too. "We may not have your technology," she said, "but we learn fast." She held up the knowledge absorber, on which she had already learned to write programs that even surprised Raya. The council members talked among themselves. Through the bond, Duhan sent Raya feelings of support and strength. She sent back gratitude and affection. Finally, the head council member spoke. "And what of your duties as heir, princess? What of the bond you share with this human? It goes against all tradition." "Maybe it's time for new traditions," Raya said. "I will still be heir, still lead our people, but I will do it differently. I will bridge our worlds." She took Duhan's hand. "The bond shows us that humans in harmony can work together, make each other better." "I have an idea," Jisoo said suddenly. Everyone turned to look at her. "Why not make Earth an experiment? Let us prove what humans and harmony can do together. Give us 1 year." The council members whispered again. Duhan felt Rai's excitement through their bond. This was her plan all along, to show her people that change could be good. "Very well," the head council member said finally. 1 year. We will give Earth some of our technology, and see what humans do with it." He looked at Duhan. "You will be our first ambassador." Duhan bowed, just as Raya had taught him. "I won't let you down. And I will split my time between our worlds," Raya said, "learning from both, bringing them together." She smiled at Duhan. "After all, the bond means we can't be too far apart anyway." Later, as they watched Earth's first sunset together on the palace balcony, Raya leaned against Duhan's shoulder. "Are you ready for this?" she asked. "It won't be easy, changing 2 worlds." Duhan thought about everything that had happened since he found a crashed ship in the woods. Through their bond, he shared his feelings of hope and determination with her. "Nothing worth doing is ever easy," he said, "but we'll do it together." Jisoo joined them, already making plans on the absorber. "And don't forget, you have me too." Raya laughed, her violet eyes bright with happiness. "Earth's creativity, Harmony's technology, and our loyalty to each other. I think we're going to change the universe." Looking at the sunset, Duhan smiled. A month ago, he was just a mechanic. Now he was helping build a bridge between worlds. Life had funny ways of working out sometimes.